Did that careless waitress just spill juice on my $10,000 shoes? You people are trained to serve, not ruin things. He didn't mumble it. He wanted the whole place to hear. It was 1:12 p.m. at Lumina, one of Manhattan's brightest daytime bistros, where sunlight poured through floor-to-ceiling windows and power lunches sealed deals over $600 artisanal cocktails. Right there, under a chandelier of frosted glass and wealth, Leang, a Chinese billionaire known for his meteoric rise in fintech, snapped as a splash of fresh squeezed orange juice, hand-pressed from Sicilian groves, stained his bespoke suede loafers. A simple mistake, a clumsy moment. But instead of patience or common courtesy, he turned, sneered, and slapped the young waitress standing by his table. A sharp, humiliating crack. A second later, he was on the floor. No one saw her move. One moment he stood, puffed up with arrogance. The next, he was sprawled on the polished tiles, gasping, one hand clutching his chest, the other shaking in shock. Standing over him was Alana, 24, 6 years pouring drinks and carrying trays, a business major who knew more about handling pressure than the man who just tried to shame her. She didn't shout. Didn't need to. Next time, think twice. Some spills cost more than your shoes. That moment tore open a conversation this city sidesteps too often. How pride can wear a tailored suit, speak in boardroom tones, and hide behind a fat bank account. The clip, just 15 seconds long, hit the internet like a spark in dry grass. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, #ServerStrong shot to the top trend by evening. Not just because of the slap, but because of what came next. What you're about to read isn't just a viral blip. It's the collapse of a man who thought he was above consequences and the rise of a woman who showed strength doesn't need a corner office. Stay with us, because the next few minutes will make you rethink what fairness looks like. This isn't just a headline. This is a story of a server who pushed back. Before the slap, before the video turned her into an icon, she was just Alana. Alana, 24, 5 feet 6 inches, with bright hazel eyes and a smile that lingered but was often ignored. She grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, in a cramped 2-bedroom with her mom, Carla, and her little sister, Mia. Carla worked doubles at a bakery, coming home with flour-dusted aprons and aching knees, but always found time to braid Alana's hair or quiz Mia on spelling. They weren't rich, but they were tight-knit. Alana learned young how to stay calm under pressure, how to speak softly but mean every word. At school, she was a quiet spark, acing math tests, calling out unfair rules, and helping classmates who struggled with homework. She believed in doing right before she knew the term for it. By high school, she had dreams, big ones. A scholarship to Seton Hall, studying business administration. She didn't want fame. She wanted impact, maybe running a non-profit, launching a small business, or mentoring kids like her. But life doesn't always follow your blueprint. When Mia's asthma flared, requiring expensive inhalers and doctor visits, everything shifted. Carla's heart condition worsened, and scholarships didn't cover hospital copays. So Alana adapted. She put college on hold and took a job at Lumina, one of Manhattan's glitziest bistros. It was temporary, she told herself, just until the bills were paid, until Mia could breathe easier. At Lumina, she wore red and white checkered pants, a crisp white shirt, and black slip-resistant shoes. Her light brown hair stayed neatly tucked in a bun, and she wore a thin copper ring from her mom. She moved fast, listened sharp, and memorized every regular's order down to their sparkling water preference. No ice, 1 lime. To the guests, she was a shadow, efficient, polite, invisible unless needed. But beneath that calm surface was a woman who studied negotiation tactics on her train ride and jotted down business ideas during breaks. She still sketched plans for herself, ways to help her community, ways to build something lasting. What they saw was a waitress. What she carried was grit. Alana knew how the world saw people like her. Smiling through rudeness, swallowing sharp words, staying professional when guests snapped their fingers. But she felt every slight, every eye roll, every time someone assumed she had no bigger dreams. That day, when Leang glared at her like she was a smudge on his perfect world, he didn't just meet a server. He met a woman ready to stand her ground. The day started like any other. White tablecloths gleamed under sunlight, Soft piano notes floated from a corner speaker, and the air buzzed with the quiet confidence of money. Lumina was alive with clinking glasses and murmured deals, the kind of place where a single lunch could cost a month's rent. Then at 12:58 p.m., he walked in. Leang, fintech titan, CEO of NovaPay, the Chinese payment platform that just inked a deal with a major U.S. bank. Net worth over $12 billion. Age 47, face smooth as marble, eyes like polished steel. He didn't need to introduce himself, his aura did that. First came the entourage, 3 assistants with tablets buzzing, muttering about stock prices and meetings, a translator, though Liang's English was flawless, and 2 bodyguards in charcoal suits, scanning the room like drones. Leang entered last, loosening his silk tie as if the room needed to adjust to him. The hostess scrambled, menu in hand, nearly dropping her pen. Everyone noticed. Power doesn't walk into a room, it commands it. But Leang didn't acknowledge anyone. He looked past them. Servers, diners, the pianist, all just noise to his purpose. He wasn't there to eat. He was there to be noticed. He took his usual spot, a sleek booth by the window with a view of the skyline. He ordered without glancing at the menu, seared scallops, kale salad, sparkling water from a Swiss spring. Everything rare, everything pricey, everything screaming he was above the room. Then the comments started, not friendly, not quiet, loud enough for nearby tables to turn. He aimed them at his assistants, his translator, and soon, at the woman approaching his table. Alana. She didn't flinch, didn't waver, just glided over with the same steady grace she gave every guest. She poured water, listed specials, and offered a small smile. Leang looked at her like she was a glitch in his day, an annoyance in his perfect scene. You'd think servers here would know how to hold a tray properly, he said to his translator, voice carrying across the booth. A smirk tugged at his lips. He wanted her to react. She didn't. But the air changed. Somewhere between the clink of cutlery and the hum of lunch chatter, a spark had ignited, and everyone in Lumina felt it. They just didn't know when it would flare. It began with a jab. Not a joke, not really. You must be used to rushing around, carrying trays all day, huh? Leang said, chuckling as Alana cleared a bread plate. His tone was light, but his eyes were cold, daring her to respond. She kept her face steady. Working in a place like Lumina teaches you that how to let rudeness slide like it's part of the job. You nod, you smile, you move on. But it didn't stop. When she brought the juice pitcher, Leang raised an eyebrow. Do you even know what's in this? Fresh squeezed or store-bought? One of his assistants snickered. The translator looked down. Alana nodded. Sir, it's hand-pressed Sicilian orange, 2023 harvest. Would you like a glass? Her voice was smooth, professional, but her pulse quickened. There's a kind of arrogance that doesn't yell. It murmurs, cloaked in fake politeness, testing how far it can push. Leang wasn't throwing insults. He was probing, seeing how much he could get away with. You're quick for a server. This your full-time gig? You don't seem like the usual staff here. Each word was dipped in charm, but Alana knew the sting. It was familiar, the subtle put-down service worker's face in fancy places, the assumption you're less, the surprise when you're capable. She smiled, poured the juice, cleared another plate. But as she turned toward the kitchen, her grip tightened on the tray. She'd heard this before. The jabs, the smirks, the condescension dressed as small talk. Today felt different. Leang wasn't just cocky. He was intentional, like a man used to saying whatever he wanted because no one ever called him out. He was waiting for her to falter, to shrink. What he didn't know, what no one in that bistro knew, was that Alana didn't crumble. She chose her moment. It happened fast, like a scene in slow motion. Alana approached with the juice pitcher, label out, just as she was trained. She leaned in slightly, steady, careful not to spill. Her eyes avoided Liang's, not out of nerves, but strategy. Then it went wrong. A server rushing by bumped her elbow, just enough to jolt her. The pitcher tipped. A small splash, barely a tablespoon, hit Liang Zhou's suede loafers, orange droplets on pale gray. The silence was deafening. Liang stared at his shoes like they were priceless art, now ruined. His jaw clenched. He stood, eyes narrowing, lips twisting into something sharp. Of course, he said, loud enough for the room to hear. This is what you get when you hire careless help for elite places. Alana stepped back. I'm so sorry, sir. It was an accident. I'll get a cloth. He didn't respond. Instead, with the confidence only money buys, he slapped her across the face. A quick, open-handed strike. Not hard enough to knock her down, but enough to burn. Enough to humiliate. Enough to draw every eye in the room. The slap echoed. Diners froze. A fork clattered. A glass tipped and shattered. The piano music paused. Alana stood still, not from fear, but from focus. The sting on her cheek wasn't just physical. It carried years of dismissed effort, of being overlooked, of smiling through disrespect. She met Leang's gaze. No tears, no panic, just fire. He hadn't just slapped her face. He'd slapped her work, her family, her dreams, her worth. And in that moment, Liang Zhou made the costliest mistake of his career, not because of cameras or lawsuits, but because he underestimated the wrong woman. What Liang didn't know was that Alana had taken self-defense classes for 3 years, not to fight, but to feel unbreakable. What he didn't know was that behind her red and white checkered pants and crisp white shirt was a woman who'd studied business strategies, conflict resolution, and how to flip a power dynamic in a heartbeat. And now, she gave herself that heartbeat. Alana didn't yell or crumble. She didn't run to the manager or dial 911. She took one step forward, inhaled deeply, and pivoted on her right heel. In a fluid motion, her hand caught Liang's wrist, the one that had struck her. She twisted, using his own momentum against him. In a flash, he was off balance, spun sideways, and slammed onto the tiled floor with a dull thud that echoed through the bistro. Gasps erupted. Liang lay there, stunned, one hand grabbing at his tie, the other flailing in disbelief. The bodyguards lurched forward, one reaching for his jacket, but Alana's voice cut through, clear and firm for the first time that day. Back off. This man assaulted me and the cameras caught it. The room froze. Liang groaned, more embarrassed than hurt, his ego bruised worse than his back. Alana didn't smirk or linger. She straightened her shirt, stood tall, and looked down at him with unshaken poise. Her voice was low, steady. Think you're above me? The floor doesn't care who you are. That's when the clapping started, hesitant at first, then bolder. Table by table, diners joined in, not cheering violence, but saluting a woman who refused to be diminished. In a world that expects servers to swallow insults and keep moving, Alana did something extraordinary. She stood her ground with grace, precision, and undeniable strength. That moment would ripple far beyond the bistro's glass walls. It took just 15 seconds. A shaky phone video, filmed by a tech startup founder from Boston at a nearby table, captured it all. She'd been recording the view of Manhattan's skyline for a vlog when the slap rang out like a dropped tray. Instinct turned her phone toward the scene. She caught everything: Liang's cutting words, the slap, the swift takedown, and Alana's calm warning. By 2 p.m. the clip was on Instagram. By 3 p.m. it hit Twitter. By 5 p.m. it had 6.1 million views. Hashtag serverstrong, hashtag stand with Alana, hashtag not your punchbag, hashtag service story, hashtag Liang down. Hashtags exploded across platforms. People didn't just watch, they shared, commented, and stitched their own stories. Bartenders, retail workers, delivery drivers, anyone who'd ever been treated as less, found a voice in Alana's moment. It wasn't fleeting virality. It was a spark that lit a fire. By evening, news outlets jumped in. CNN called it a power clash in broad daylight. Good Morning America labeled it a stand for workplace dignity. Social media didn't pause. To millions, Alana became a symbol, not of anger, but of composure under pressure. A reminder that strength doesn't need a title or a trust fund. Sometimes, it wears a white shirt and a bun. Journalists swarmed Lumina, but the manager deflected, citing privacy. Liang's PR team issued a curt statement, calling it a misunderstanding due to high-pressure circumstances. No apology, no regret. The internet wasn't buying it. Clips of Alana's takedown were remixed with hip-hop beats, jazz riffs, even classical violin. A Brooklyn artist posted a sketch on Instagram, Alana standing tall over Leang, sunlight framing her like a halo, captioned, "Strength isn't bought. It's built." The post got 2 lakh likes in hours. Meanwhile, Alana stayed quiet. No posts, no interviews, no chasing the spotlight. She clocked into her next shift, ignoring the buzz. But her silence wasn't weakness, it was power. The world was watching, and something bigger than a viral clip was taking shape. The next day, Lumina felt different. The usual hum of forks and deals was quieter, replaced by curious glances and hushed whispers. Diners watched Alana as she moved through the tables, some nodding in respect, others staring like she was a puzzle they couldn't solve. A few regulars left bigger tips. One slipped her a note, "You're a hero." The staff knew her better. The barista gave her a quick hug. The line cook slid her an extra muffin with a wink. A dishwasher left a post-it on her locker. "You showed them." Not everyone was kind, though. By noon, a small crowd gathered outside, some holding signs reading, "Servers deserve respect," others less friendly, muttering about disrespecting important guests. One man in a polo shouted, "She attacked us." Cameras caught it all. Online, it got uglier. Trolls dug up Alana's old social media, photos from college, a tweet about long shifts from 2019. Some called her a troublemaker, others claimed she staged it for clout. Anonymous messages poured in, "Know your place, server. You'll regret this." Lumina offered her a week off, paid. She refused. "I didn't do anything wrong," she told the manager. "I'm here to work." Her strength wasn't in the takedown. It was in showing up, unbothered, while the world spun around her. Beneath the noise, something was growing. Stories poured out online. A cashier shared how a customer threw coins at her. A valet recounted being yelled at for a scratch he didn't cause. A barista posted about being mocked for mixing up an order. Alana's moment gave them courage, not to fight, but to speak. She became a face for the overlooked, a voice for the dismissed. The bistro's glass walls couldn't contain the story. It was spilling into the streets, the internet, the world. Liang Zhou stayed silent for 24 hours. No tweets, no press, just a void. But the internet doesn't wait. A tech blogger posted a thread, "Who is Liang Zhou really?" It gained traction fast. Diggers, journalists, ex-employees, activists started pulling threads. By day 2, cracks appeared in Liang's polished image. A former NovaPay intern shared a story on LinkedIn. Liang had once berated her in a meeting for a typo, calling her useless in front of the team. The post got 500 shares. A Reddit user, claiming to be a former assistant, described a culture of fear at NovaPay, where Liang's temper was legendary, and mistakes meant humiliation. No one had spoken up before, NDAs and fear kept them quiet. But Alana's stand loosened tongues. A vendor who'd worked with NovaPay tweeted about Leang refusing to pay a small business for a late delivery, laughing it off as their fault for being slow. The tweet went viral. By day 3, bigger outlets picked it up. A tech magazine ran a piece, "The Cost of Arrogance, Liang Zhou's Fall." It hinted at settled lawsuits, hushed complaints, and a boardroom that protected him. NovaPay's stock dipped 8%. Investors whispered. Partners hesitated. Liang's empire, built on control, was wobbling not because of one slap, but because Alana had exposed what money couldn't hide. A man who thought he could push anyone down. And now, the pushback was just beginning. 4 days, Alana Brooke kept quiet. No social media, no press. While the web buzzed and Liang Zhou's empire wobbled, she waited. Her silence wasn't fear, it was strategy. Then, on a sunny Tuesday morning, she appeared on Morning Buzz, a popular talk show. No fancy team, just Alana in a blue cardigan, her light brown hair in a bun, hazel eyes steady. She sat down, breathed deep, and said what everyone wanted to hear. "I didn't react to go viral. I reacted because no one can touch me without consequences. Not here, not ever." The audience hushed. Her voice, firm yet calm, reached far. She shared about her mom, Carla, grinding through shifts for the family. About Mia's asthma battles. About learning early that hard work doesn't always get fair play. Above all, she talked about value. Standing strong isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just not backing down, claiming your space, ignoring those who undervalue you. She skipped bashing Leang. Her strength was in her story, not spite. The segment ended with standing applause, cheers echoing. Calls flooded in, endorsements, TV spots, agents. She said no. Instead, she linked with a nonprofit for worker training in rights and safety. She launched a scholarship for families like hers, covering health costs. She visited schools, sharing tips on self-respect, not fame. Alana turned a moment into momentum. Her words spread through cafes, shops, lives, proving quiet power lasts. As Alana grew, Liang's facade crumbled. His team's vague statement, a heated misunderstanding, backfired. Online sleuths uncovered more. A NovaPay ex-designer, Mike Torres, uploaded a clip on TikTok. His tone was even. Leang dismissed my pitches as amateur, favored his inner circle. I left feeling worthless. It racked up 800,000 views overnight. Stories snowballed. A marketer recalled Leang shredding a proposal in a meeting, calling it trash. A supplier tweeted about delayed payments, dismissed with a laugh. Each tale exposed the rot. A business site dropped an article, NovaPay's hidden flaws. It listed complaints, belittling, overwork, ignored feedback, all hushed. An anonymous exec said, Leang ruled by intimidation. We stayed silent for jobs. Now, silence broke. NovaPay's shares fell 10%. Deals stalled. The board pressured him. The control freak lost grip, not from the slap alone, but from the light Alana shone on his shadows. The impact widened. Alana's clip became a catalyst. Workers everywhere voiced out. A Seattle cashier shared a video of a rude patron. An LA driver posted about verbal abuse. #ServerStrong united them, a hub for shared strength. Alana avoided the spotlight but inspired it. She returned to Lumina daily, uniform neat, serving with the same grace. Patrons whispered admiration. Some left encouraging cards. Staff supported her. A quick smile from the chef, a nod from the hostess. Protests outside mixed cheers and jeers, but Alana stayed steady. I work for me, she said to a friend. Her poise outshone the hate. The story challenged norms. Why do workers endure? Discussions bloomed on forums, shows. A viral list, ways to respect service staff. Companies promised changes, training, policies. Alana spoke at a workshop, know your limits. That's true power. Leang resigned weeks later, blaming new ventures. NovaPay vowed reforms. But real shifts happened elsewhere. In the clerk who reported mistreatment, the barista who walked away from toxicity. Alana resumed classes, weaving dreams with reality. She didn't monetize pain, she multiplied hope. Her legacy? Every day stands against overreach. Arrogance sneaks in suits, whispers dismissals, expects compliance. Alana proved, push back. Claim space. The floor levels us all. If this moves you, tell someone undervalued. You're seen. This isn't just one story. It's everyone's. And it continues. If this story of standing strong inspired you, share it with a friend who needs the boost, and subscribe for more tales of everyday power. Wherever you're watching from, your phone in the break room or laptop at home, know that your voice matters too. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment that flips the script. Thanks for joining. See you in the next one.